Good morning, South Florida, and welcome to the breakfast at the Brooklyn Cafe TV.
Take a deep breath and a good whiff of that coffee brewing. Grab yourself some toast, a donut, or any breakfast as Dawn and Freddie get you up and ready for the rest of the day.
So call in at 888-565-1470 to share a tip of the day.
Or just to say good morning. Shake off your sleepies, buckle in, because it's showtime.
Hey, you know what I got?
Oh, would that be a cowbell?
We need more cowbells. Man, I got clunkers here now. Check this out. Check this out. You saw this one. Check out this one.
Wow.
And then I got
wow.
and then I got come home to dinner. So which one you like better?
Wow,
Bigger.
I feel like it's Christmas and you can play the cowbells. Very nice.
That's too religious.
Very nice.
Enough of that mess. Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe breakfast. I guess that's what I call it, breakfast. Where you can grab a bagel, a donut, or anything that you can eat. And you can sit down and chill out. I'm having some cereal.
Until tomorrow. After tomorrow, you cannot grab a bagel or a donut or anything that has fluff to it for the next 8 days in my religion. So tonight we embark on Passover. Tonight is our first Seder.
What do you mean you can't have anything with fluff in it?
No fluffy carbohydrates. Let's put it that way. You can have carbs because don't ever forget about the beauty of matzah, which is full of carbs, but yet it's like a cracker. So you can feel that, and any stomach issues you had, you will just exacerbate and take it to a whole nother level in another direction. Actually, we should do that challenge. You know, there's that cracker challenge. How many crackers can you eat and still talk? And then you put water in your mouth and it kind of expands. We should do it with Passover over the next 8 days because there is nothing quite like the beauty of matzah on your stomach. But tonight we embark on Passover. It is our first Seder, so everyone who celebrates Passover, happy and healthy Passover. And all I can tell you is talk about reliving our past. And as we fight the plagues and we celebrate our victory of what we accomplished as Jewish people, fleeing from Egypt and all the persecution and all the plagues, we now sit in our own sense of plague right now in 2020. So it's kind of this harmonious discord that you really can't wrap your head around, that we're actually living the same thing we pray about every year.
So wait a minute. I want to get back to the fluff of stuff. You're not allowed to anything that is fluffy?
Anything that has risen.
Everything's risen.
And there you have it. So no buns, no cookies, no cakes, no donuts, no bagels, no bread. Nothing that has risen.
Wow.
So theoretically nothing with yeast.
And why is that?
Because when the Jewish people left Egypt to flee for their safety, all of their food did not have time to rise. They took it with them on their backs and it was baked in the sun on their journey and nothing had time to sit and rise. So that is why it is matzah and it is flat.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
And can't we sort of change that a little bit so you can have bread at least?
Well, here's the funny thing about that. With all the new foods that are out there, you used to not be able to have pasta, but now lentil pasta would be okay because it's made from beans. So there's been a lot of workarounds in this whole vegan, vegetarian new world. And different cultures believe in different things, but the reality and the tradition behind it would say no.
And Passover starts tomorrow?
Tonight at sundown.
Oh, tonight, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, what do you tell somebody? Happy Passover? What do you say?
Pretty much. So that's tonight, and it's always been a good way for me to kick off my diet season. However, the space we're in, I think I'm not going to try and kick off my diet season. So after all of our shows today, I get to clean out my kitchen and reorganize it, change over my plates and my silverware and my pots, which I don't use, so I don't know why I'm changing those. I ordered in dinner tonight from a takeout place. And normally my Seder consists of 20 people, 16, 20. Sometimes I've had up to 35. Tonight it's 3, so it's kind of a little strange.
You're the only person that I know that has stayed home and has gained weight.
I haven't.
I mean, it has lost weight. You haven't gained any weight. You've lost weight.
Yes.
That's unheard of.
Because the food in my house is not conducive to my stomach feeling so well. So therein lies a whole nother level of this and stress. For me, stress takes me the opposite way. Some people stress eat. I stress don't eat. So it's a whole lot of stuff going on. But everyone who celebrates Passover have a happy and healthy Passover. I can't imagine the memes that are going to be coming out as we sit in a plague and we sit within our homes and we sit with our doors closed and everything that we pray over for Passover. Not being religious or anything, but this is just the tradition of what we do, and we now sit in the same plate that we sat in all those years ago. It's an interesting concept, but everyone's doing Zoom Seders tonight.
Zoom Seders, yes. And what do you do? Are you going to do one virtually with your parents?
My parents, my brother, my sister, my kids, my in-laws.
So
Yep.
Are they going to be on the screen like the B mix or how have you?
We're going to try. That's our intent anyway.
Very cool. What are you going to use?
Zoom.
You have a Zoom account?
Somebody does. We're going to see. We're going to give it a try.
They better put a password on it.
I told them that when they sent out the link that it had to have a password on it. So that is our trial for tonight and tomorrow night. Food is being delivered, of course, because everyone knows who. Actually, only Anne, I think, is cooking for Passover. I don't know. We'll find out about that. You know, I'm not cooking. I thought about it, and I actually ordered food to cook over the weekend, and somehow my good intentions went by the wayside, and the food is still sitting in the refrigerator. And we got more things to do and more financial pieces to put together. So I think cooking's going to be on hold. And it's all about family, right? It's about coming together with family and friends, even if it's on a video screen.
You cooking a whole for the last 50 years.
I know. So like, why change that now is all I'm saying.
You are very consistent.
I might take off my shorts though and maybe put on a skirt, but maybe not because nobody can see that either. So this is a whole new strange thing of getting dressed. I get dressed from the waist up, and that's it every day.
Now, do you see what I'm drinking?
That would be a Starbucks mug?
Yes.
Yes.
They sent me this.
Did they?
Because Linda gets a cup of coffee. She's a social worker, so she gets first responder. She gets a free cup of coffee every time she goes to Starbucks. So if you go to Starbucks and you tell me you're first responder, you get a free cup of coffee. So Chuck can go. And then Linda told him about the show, and they sent me the mug, and they now send me a free cup of coffee because they believe even though we're not first responders, we are out there putting the news out so people can learn, can see, can associate with one another, can do what we have to do. But this cup is a vat. I mean, I don't have to get up after this cup. Well, I'm going to have to get up, but this cup is huge. It's a huge mug of coffee.
You see mine?
So thank you to Starbucks. That's cute.
And
what
this
is that?
Tinkerbell in her sassy state. So here is sassy Tinkerbell fighting the fight. Where did I get that? Oh, in the most magical place on earth that some people seem to think has lost their magic. However, I think I lost you. Oh, there you go. What happened? Where'd you go?
Teddy hit the turn to black screen by accident.
Good morning, Teddy. How are you doing? Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Dr. Bougie. Good morning, Troy. How you doing? Hi, Lindsay Martinez. Jeff Greenberg. People are still commenting on the fact that you have a new ring light for me, so I'm excited to have that on my computer pretty soon. And we got a lot going on. We have a new producer, Jared, who says he's celebrating Passover, and dessert is definitely not as good, but he likes the food. To me, Passover is another one of those brown holidays. Jewish food. I don't know why Jewish food is always brown, but somehow it is. So
What do you mean
It's a
brown?
as a health coach, we always teach eat the rainbow and eat all of your colors of fruits and vegetables. Jewish food is brown. You've either got brisket, turkey, chicken, but with that brown, you can add some gravy to it, and which is a whole nother layer of brown. And then you got potatoes. So you can do potato pancakes or roasted potatoes, again, more brown. Or you can add matzah stuffing, again, more beige and brown. But to combat all the matzah and all the things that upset your stomach, you can then add orange, which is carrots, and dates, which is called simis. Again, a little bit more brown. And then just for fun, you have some parsley. So you got a little bit of green, but you got a whole lot of brown and stuff like that. So it's an interesting holiday for all of us.
Well, I don't understand. A date is a date. Why is it called Simmons?
Because it has carrots.
So you have dates and carrots. Why? Why you change it?
I need someone who speaks Yiddish to explain where the origin of simis came from. And I would bet our executive producer's mother, Ellen, would probably know. So maybe Teddy can get us an information on that, and she can even come in on another code. I'll give it to her and let us know how that rolls out. Or maybe someone can write in. I don't know. Hey, Jojo, how you doing? So, and I'd be afraid to hear Jeff Greenberg's take on why it's called simis. Dr. Dora, good morning to you. And Kenny Love, spreading the love. And there you have it.
And there you have it. Now, how long do you celebrate Passover? Is it like Easter was one day, or you have because you guys get like a bunch of holidays?
Yeah, it's another interesting concept that I'm really not quite sure of the answer. And again, depending on everything in Judaism is depending on, right? Depending on your degree of celebration. It's either 7 nights or 8 nights. And then everyone has this question of when it starts and when it ends. So I never really know I know it starts tonight, but the ending part, theoretically, is I think in 8 days or 8 nights. And that's where it always comes the confusion, or as much as your stomach can handle the matzah. So that's kind of where we go on that one.
What's so long?
I think it ends next Wednesday night. I think it's the last night.
Really? So what do you do during these 8 festive days? What do you?
What do I do? I try and stay away from carbs.
No, what does the tradition have you do? Are you praying? Is there a mass? What is it?
Yeah, you have Seder, and I think if we talk to Ann later today, we're going to find out, because Ann's always our spiritual guru on that side. But for me, in our tradition, we just don't eat anything that has risen, any bread that has risen. It's just trying to stay a little bit more carb-free. And that cereal you're eating would not be one of the things you can have either. But they've changed it all. So that's where we're rolling and going tonight. So you ready to get into our morning show? Happiness?
I am. The funny thing is that Easter is this Sunday, right?
Good Friday would be Friday, 100%.
Well, I never understood why Good Friday is called Good Friday, other than you should be good. It doesn't make any sense to me. But Easter is on Sunday. And the fun thing about Easter, I was asked, what do I want to have for dinner? Now, Easter for us means that people get together and you celebrate life, like Wayne talks about and what have you. Ham, turkey, mashed potatoes are the mainstay, allegedly. My mother used to go crazy on Easter, so there wasn't anything that we didn't have. So I'm being vegan. I talked to Linda about what are we going to do on Sunday, and I said, you know what? I think ham and potatoes would be kind of cool. But I know that to get a ham, I got to go out to get it.
You can order it in.
Well, I'm kind of finicky about my ham.
You can order it in from a finicky place. They will deliver.
Well, that seems to be the game plan, but hopefully that will be on the menu. If not, this is a different stage of life now. So
let me tell you about another little ditty, Country Club Man.
What happened?
Let me tell you another little fun fact. Most country clubs are delivering meals to the people in their communities. So I would venture to say you could probably call that country club restaurant, and they would either deliver it or do a drive-by.
No, I'm going to pass.
but
Politically,
it's probably but it probably exists. So there are lots of options. We ordered from a restaurant and then we just ordered a meal, and there's many people that are doing it. We actually put it in last night. Delivery Dudes is delivering it today, and we're good to go.
so Delivery Dudes is continuing to deliver?
Well, at least last time when I put in the order, I think things are always changing, but we keep rolling and going.
Excellent.
And
All right,
maybe
now
tonight,
did you
maybe
see,
we'll make some chocolate matzah and I'll share it, or Teddy can share it on air. We should have Teddy make some. Oh, Teddy, I have a good idea for you. Maybe she can make some chocolate matzah with the flour you got from your CBD store. We can just sprinkle it on. We all can be a little less anxious.
yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds it.
We're going to give it a try. We've got Lauren Cohen joining us, and she's been doing tremendous amount of work with the SBA loans, with financially what's happening with the PP. I always laugh when I hear the PPP because I know there's PPE in the healthcare profession, and now we got the PPP, plus we've got the government grants. And every day I get another email from my accountant saying this is their understanding and their interpretation. There seems to be a lot of wiggle room on interpretations every day. And Lauren's been doing webinars and she's been commenting. So she has a Facebook group that she is sharing this pivot or perish, which I'm hoping we can all pivot a whole lot more than we perish and financially get back on our feet. So let's bring Lauren over and hear what she's got going on.
Okay.
Thanks,
Good
Don.
morning.
Hi, Freddie.
Hey,
How
So
you
I
Lauren,
doing?
wanted
how
to
are you?
tell you that about 5 minutes before the show started, I had my Passover delivery, which I ordered 2 weeks ago, and they called me yesterday and said, "We're going to deliver it tomorrow." And I'm like, okay, if they don't deliver it, what am I going to do? Because I have literally not been out. So anyway, thanks for having me, and I'm very relieved it's in my garage. So I'll go clean it and look after it. So it's great to be here. Thank you, guys.
Tell us what's
So
happening in your world. You've been doing webinars. You've been doing a lot of online informative sessions.
thank you. It's been super busy. I'm the pivoting queen. I'm a legal expert, and I work with people and clients and businesses to help with business continuity. And I saw these loans and opportunities coming up, and I said, my clients are going to need this. Not just my clients, but people. So rather than just being a service provider, fee for service, I decided to start doing webinars. I have a webinar this coming Friday with an SBA disaster loan expert on our webinar, which is going to be amazing. I'm doing group coaching and funding. I'm sorry, not funding, group coaching and filing sessions. I have one today at 1 to help people get this stuff filed, because every business owner, I don't know if you guys have applied, but every business owner should definitely be applying. And you're right, accountants, everybody, like banks, one day it's one thing, the next day it's another thing. And this is, in this group, Pivot or Perish on Facebook, my goal is to keep people abreast of the changes as they're changing. I still haven't even been able to apply for my PPP because there's a glitch in the bank system, so I can't upload a certain document. So it's frustrating, but everybody just needs to be patient. And I think at the end of the day, we'll get everything filed. They were saying 3 to 5 days to get 3 to 5 business days to get access to this grant. There's a $10,000 grant that's part of every application. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get it, but it is part of every application. And they originally said 3 to 5 business days. I had clients that we started filing last Monday. Now it's 7 business days, and they still don't have anything. So it is what it is. We are in a very unique situation, and I think that patience is the key to success here. And also, not listening, just like with COVID-19, if we listen to everything we hear, we will lose our minds, right? So it's better to try to kind of focus and stay with one trusted advisor, one point of contact, just like in everything I do, and kind of rely on that person or that business to give you the accurate information, because we could lose our minds, literally.
Well, what type of information? And we've had Ian Berkowitz. Ian's been on with us for a couple
Yeah,
times,
of course,
and
I knew
he
Ian
talks
super
about it.
well. Yeah.
And he's fantastic, and his information is amazing. Tell us what has changed in the past. I can't even say past week. I mean, since yesterday, banks are changing between the government,
Right.
between the grant and the PPP, because this seems to be a lot of confusion. Is once you get to the application, you upload, and all of that you deal with your bank and you're dealing with the site. But who should be applying for what? And can you apply for both?
And again, there's even confusion about that. So
I know.
originally the bank said you can't apply for both, and now the banks are saying you can apply for both, and one will cancel out the other. So if you've
Right.
applied for the loan and you access the grant, and then you apply for the PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, and you get the Paycheck Protection Program coverage, they're supposedly, and I say all of this, none of this is legal advice, of course, because we can't even give legal advice on this. So, but anyway, if you apply for the PPP and you get that through your bank, then it's supposedly going to be discounted by whatever grant amount you get. Now, the loan, the EIDL, as it's now called, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, that's the acronym for that. There's so many acronyms out there, we could literally lose our minds, right? So the EIDL is a loan. It's 3.75% for for-profit businesses, 2.75% for nonprofit businesses. So the if you apply for that and you get it, you can use it for things that go beyond what the Paycheck Protection Program covers. The Paycheck Protection Program is up to 2.5% of your average monthly payroll from the last 12 months, and it only covers payroll and things related to health insurance, insurance coverages, other insurance coverages, rent, things that are related to payroll taxes. However, in your within the economic injury disaster loan, that's a broader base and it's a loan. The Paycheck Protection Program, for sure, you're going to get 8 weeks of forgiveness and perhaps longer. So there's a lot of crossover, and I think that the confusion is nobody really knows. So I have actually teamed up with my accounting partner, who I've been working with for 3 years on my own stuff, and that we're doing our session, our group coaching session today at 1 to get people filed that aren't filed. And don't mislead yourself into thinking it's not worth filing. It is worth filing. I think almost every business owner in America should at least file, because if you don't try, you can't get a yes if you don't try. So you may as well
Agreed.
try, and the worst that can happen is they say no, you know. So
And
Okay,
finally, and what, yeah,
I got a question. I got people writing into me, businesses, local businesses, though, are writing in saying that they tried to apply and they spoke to their institutions and they told them they did not qualify. And then
yes, so
they waited 2 days later and they call and they told them they do
they
qualify.
do.
I mean,
Exactly.
the bottom line here is that the people that we're talking to may not know what the rules are yet.
It's not that we don't, it's not even that they don't know what the rules are, it's that the rules are constantly, interpretation of the rules is constantly changing. And that's the challenge, is that it's very hard for people to stay abreast of those changes, never mind professionals, which is why I'm saying just select one person. It doesn't mean that that's a guru, but at least you're not going to be like a seesaw, running back and forth trying to figure it out. At the end of the day, the financial institutions are going to be responsible to file for the Paycheck Protection Program. You have to file through a financial institution. On Friday, supposedly this Friday, which is 2 days from now, there's the 1099s and sole proprietors are supposed to be eligible on as of Friday for the Paycheck Protection Program, even if they don't have W-2 employees. Will it be Friday? We don't know. Were they eligible before? Probably not. Again, it's a lot of interpretation. So there's no hard and fast rules here. We're in this really crazy time, and I think that people get upset at the amount of change. I mean, it's frustrating and it's very hard to follow. But it's just like with Instacart or Shipt, right? I ordered last week on Thursday. They said I was going to get my order yesterday. I got my order at 4 p.m. that same day. You just don't know. It's a free for all. It's like the wild, wild west, and we have to really try to be patient. And my suggestion is, if you can file. If you have an unemployment claim, or you can potentially have one in Florida or wherever, file. The worst that can happen is you get a no. Now, it's impossible. I've been trying for 2 weeks to file a claim, and I can't even get through the system. So there's nothing that we can do about that. That's system stuff, and system stuff is definitely a nightmare right now. I mean, think about it. Now you have millions and millions and millions of people applying for stuff that usually it's not, the numbers are not like that, and so the systems are overwhelmed, and it doesn't matter how frustrated we are, they can only do what they can do. And I'm not trying to defend them because I'm frustrated too, right? But we have to kind of go with it because we don't have a choice.
I mean, here's the way I
Now,
look at it. You know when you get Freddie, you know when you go on the Golden Glades, you're heading to Miami, and the Golden
yes,
Glades interchange merges with the Turnpike, and it merges with 836 or whatever it is, and you're stuck in this bottleneck, and you sit and you wait, and you crawl along, and all of a sudden, it opens up. That's what's going to
Right.
happen. Right now, we're in this bottleneck of
Correct.
information, and things are getting
Right.
thrown at us every which way. And you've got the holidays, and
Yeah.
you've got family, you've got business, and finances, and banking, and internet. And all of a sudden, it's going to open up, and everyone's going to have this collective sigh of relief. I call it hope. And you're going to realize it's all going to
There's
be
hope.
okay. But as you said, Lauren, it takes patience and perseverance. And if you sit and you scream and curse at your computer, like yelling at the football game, it's not going to make it any better.
So this is part, it's interesting that you say that because I'm calling my webinar series and everything I'm doing, just like my book, Finding the Silver Lining. And it is all about finding the silver lining in this because there is silver lining. Okay, not everybody is going to come out of this on better, but if we pool together, I mean, I'm finding that people are really supporting each other. There's a lot of challenges. I'm here alone with my 9-year-old, doesn't have school right now because he's at a Jewish school and Passover is starting today. So I have 9 days of him. He's still sleeping. Today I decided I'm having help come in, a babysitter, because he can't see it's just a long story. So anyway, suffice to say that there is a silver lining. And I think that what we all need to do, especially entrepreneurs, is look for that silver lining. We can really help each other. So that's why I'm doing these webinars. That's why I'm bringing an SBA guy. I have partnered with a credit guy who's helping people fix their credit if they don't qualify. There's all kinds of ways to bring value to people. You guys are bringing value. You're still doing your show. You're helping people figure out what's out there, what resources are out there. I love working with people and making an impact and helping them. I just had a client say, I'm not exactly sure if what we did the other day was exactly what I was looking for. I'm like, okay, we'll figure out what you need and we'll get it done. Because at the end of the day, filing that application, which I'm doing, as I say today at 1, is only the tip of the iceberg. Like Don says, the floodgates are going to open. When the floodgates open, we've got to be ready. And our clients, like Ian's clients and my clients, we are going to have voluminous record keeping requirements because we are going to have to show how we use whatever money we get. That is going to be the determining factor of whether we have to pay it all back or have loan forgiveness. And this is what people are missing out on. Not only that, but they're going to make the issuance of the loan or the grant contingent on providing all this documentation. The application is so what we're going to need to do, and we need to work with people that we trust to help us through that, or we literally will be screaming at the computer, all of us,
well,
because it's
Lauren,
frustrating.
let me ask you a question. The
Yes, sir.
people that have applied a week ago or 10
Yes.
days ago and were denied,
Yes.
is the advice, okay, reapply? Do you reapply if you've been denied because the rules have changed?
So I will tell you that not one of my clients, and we've been applying since a week ago Monday, has received any information, any. Okay, so I don't know of people being denied, and I'm sorry if they have. I haven't heard about that. There was the stimulus package. If you applied through the stimulus package, maybe that denial happened. And there are other options. So I will tell you that in my group, which you guys just joined, there's an amazing article. I got to give myself credit. I wrote an article last week. I posted it or published it on LinkedIn, and it's all about grants because it's not just this money. There's all kinds of money available. And what my role and my goal is not just to get you to these government sources or the SBA loan or the EIDL or the PPP or all these acronyms, but figure out what else is available because every day companies are coming up with more and more opportunities. If you're an artist, there's artist grants available. Let's talk and figure out how that looks because America needs to stay in business. It's in all of our best interests. And I'm also working with Canadians because obviously I am Canadian. So I'm doing across North America. So check out that resource because it's available to everybody in my group. And let's try to see if we can get you some money.
And your group is
I
free to
also
join,
think a
correct?
lot of not, sorry, pardon me?
Your group is free to
Pardon me?
join?
Yes, absolutely. It's free, and the resources in there are free. Absolutely, I'm welcoming everybody. It's called Pivot or Perish, and I'm really building a tribe. Another thing that's super important, and I know you had Jeff Greenberg on here, and I think he's called in. So Jeff is a client of mine, and I'm going to just use him as an example because he knows I will, or at least if he doesn't, it's okay. So Jeff is here on an E2 visa. An E2 visa is a treaty investor visa. He invests a substantial amount of money into this country, and he got a visa as a result, and he's hiring people and all of this, and he's got a great business, and he does promotional items and T-shirts and everything. Okay, point is, lots of clients like Jeff are in this country on these visas, and suddenly their businesses have been severely impacted, especially if they have a restaurant or a retail chain or something, right? So not only now are their businesses at stake, their whole ability to stay in America is at stake. And some of them are at the point of renewal right now. So they can't even renew their visa. So they're here, they're kind of in limbo. So I'm an immigration specialist, as you guys know, and I'm working with tons of immigration lawyers and their clients because they have to pivot big time, quick. Because if they don't pivot quick, they're going to have to leave. So we've got there's like the situation magnifies depending on your demographic and your own personal situation. So it's not one size fits all at all.
It's ever changing. It's getting the information
And
out
it will
there.
be.
How do people join your webinar?
The webinar is on Friday. I don't know, can I share it with you and you can post it?
Well,
We can try.
absolutely.
Yes, no? Okay,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
going to send you the link for the webinar. It is, it's, as I say, we're going to have this awesome SBA disaster loan expert on the webinar, live on the webinar, which is amazing. I'm so excited about that. And my partner in crime, my credit guy, is the one who introduced me to him. And I'm like, yesterday, I'm like, okay, webinar, it's at this time. He goes, I can't do it at that time. I go, okay, we're changing the time of the webinar because I need you on this call. So he's going to join us for 20 minutes. And the poor guy, he says he's working 18-hour days. I mean, he doesn't sleep. So we have to really appreciate him. And his name is Jermaine, and he's going to be joining us on Friday. The webinar is officially at 12 to 1:15. We'll be starting around 12:15. It's free. So if you'd like to join, I just gave you the link, Dawn, on your phone.
We'll post it.
And
Yeah,
if you'd like to join, I would welcome you to join and ask questions. Also, I don't know if you're going to open the floor for questions here or not. Yes, no, maybe.
100%.
I'm happy.
People writing in as we're doing this. I don't know if you have anyone writing in.
Yeah, I do. Let's see.
Because one of the reasons we use the platform that we do is because we're double encrypted. So that's why we don't give out the
makes
number
sense.
people call in. So it avoids some issues that you've had on some other platforms.
Oh, I
We
was
use a
just going to
double-
say, so
Yeah.
they have fixed that. I got to give them credit, but that was unbelievable. I have never experienced something like that in my entire life. I've never
and you're not
functioned
alone.
again.
And you're not
I know.
alone. You're not alone. Now,
My
Lauren,
biggest fear, Freddie, was the kids. That, like,
No,
with
no,
our
no.
kids on. Pardon me.
For school.
the Board of
Yeah,
Education
I
in
was
New York
like,
City got rid of it.
I said to Zevi, I go, if you see anybody come in your class that isn't supposed to be there, run to mommy right away. Like, I mean, he's not going to know what the heck is going on.
I can't believe you
Correct.
have a 9-year-old.
I know, I do.
But,
Now,
we're
Lauren,
at,
I wanted to get on the other side of this discussion as well about business owners and people that are opening up with side hustles, that have jobs, that have turned hobbies into jobs. How people are now deflated because of what's going on around them. We've been talking about this for weeks about keeping the fight, keeping your head up, so forth and so on.
Yes.
And this pivot that you're talking about may become a huge pivot because now
It
you
is,
have to look at
yes.
the cards you're being given, the hand you're being dealt, and you got to find a better way of doing what you used to do, if not change it completely so that it will work today. So I wanted you to touch a little bit upon that.
Sure. So first of all, I will share a couple of things with you because there are some businesses that are going amazingly live right now. Like if you run an online business, your business is going crazy right now. If you don't run an online business, you may want to add an online component to your business because there's a lot of like doctors, add telemedicine, dentists, add telemedicine for dental. Like, there's a lot of ways to pivot your business that don't require a huge investment. I happen to also be a realtor. So I'm part of this this cloud-based real estate company called EXP. They are going literally gangbusters right now because realtors are not able to quote unquote sell homes traditionally, right? They can't go and do open houses. So all of a sudden there's this huge opportunity to make money being a realtor as part of this network. And also you can also access some of the funding as a realtor as well. So I've been a realtor for 12 years. I've never done anything with it until now. And now is the time. So every day we have more people joining our team. It's great. So you have to just think about what's available for you. I have 14 people that are in the process of getting their real estate licenses because of this. So maybe that's an option for you. It doesn't mean you have to sell real estate. Let's think about what fits for you and your business and your lifestyle and figure out a pivot. I've been writing business plans for over 20 years. So figuring out how to structure the business to achieve the goals and also sometimes get the visa, get the funding, right? Because you have to get funding to run a business. Maybe it's venture capital funding. So now we take all of that knowledge and we figure out how to apply it to your business. For example, as you know, some businesses, I was going to say before, potentially now is the time to think about setting up a nonprofit. Nonprofit does not mean you don't make money. It just means you don't put the dividends in your pocket, but you can get paid a nice salary running a nonprofit. And if you're providing services and you want to, it's called capacity building. There are grants available if you're building your tribe. So, for example, the Brooklyn Cafe TV show could have a nonprofit component because you're providing services to people and sometimes you're not charging, sometimes you are charging. Let's figure out a way to help even more people and broaden your baseline. So those are the things that I come in and help with. It may not, even though I'm a lawyer, it's not as much the legality as it is the strategy to ensure that you have business continuity so your business survives this and potentially eventually thrives. And I will say that I work with a lot of, I had a contract signed yesterday by one of the biggest influencers in Canada. And he's going to work with me because he's getting a visa. He's actually not planning to move here right now, but he's going to get a visa so he can, once this is over, continue to run and build his business in the US. I'm just getting another one for another influencer from Canada. So there's opportunity. It's just all about finding that silver lining, right, Dawn?
100%. There's always opportunity. And that's, Freddie, that's what we've been talking about. That's what we've been talking about with Genji and MobiPop and growing and doing. And Beth Miko's another perfect example of all the online businesses and people who always talked about
100%.
their plan B. Now is the time to have that plan B, to look at it, because maybe if you've been laid off, you don't want to go back to work in the same field. You now have an opportunity to look into starting your own business. And it may start slow, but it becomes yours. It gives you these opportunities then to apply for grants and do different things out of your comfort zone. You know, we talked yesterday, Freddie, what we're doing now was my plan B. It is now not my side hustle anymore. This is something I never I dreamed it, but I never thought. And here we are. And I started applying for some grants last week. I'm going to reach out to Lauren. We've talked so much because our internship program is such a unique mix of incredible young folks that we could start a nonprofit. There's so many things we've talked about that 100%. This might be our opportunity, our silver lining to say, put that light under my you-know-what and say, you got to do more. We have to spread more hope. That's what we have to do.
You know what?
Lauren,
you've got something awesome, and you have a gift, Dawn. You both have a gift. You definitely have a gift, both of a gift of gab, but also a gift of bringing hope and bringing light and bringing laughter and levity. A lot of levity, right, to people. And people need levity right now.
Yeah. You know, you have to share the resources, but you have to share the silver lining and you have to share the hope, because the reality is sitting outside our doors of what it is. And we have to take that and we have to grow. We have to do what everyone has to do and give them show that silver lining, because you know what? There is always hope in every situation. And this
Absolutely.
too
Look,
shall
this
pass,
is
right?
God, soon, please. I'm losing my mind. This was, I think I gave you guys a copy of this book, which I wrote 2 years ago. It was called Finding the Silver Lining in the Business Immigration Process. My nonprofit is called Find Your Silver Lining. And now I'm building this webinar series about finding your silver lining. So you can you can not perish, you can pivot so you don't perish. And I just think that there's opportunity for those of us that are willing to look at it. So
I
Lauren,
think you're
thank you
100%.
so much.
You're
Thank you. You can
100%.
contact
I would,
Lauren, 954-914-3914. Find her Facebook group, Pivot or Perish. You can Pivot or Perish. You could also find her on social media, and we will share her resources as well. Thank you so much. Stay in touch with us. Let us know
thank
what's
you.
happening.
Happy Passover to those who celebrate, Dawn.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank
You too.
you.
Be safe.
Bye.
Respect, Lauren.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. You
It's a
know,
lot
it's
of information.
but you know what? She offers an opportunity to learn from within, and you can apply. I'm going to join the seminar because I want to see if it's true. All the information they're going to bring forward, maybe we can put some answers to the questions. You know, it's really interesting, Dawn. Last night we had David DePino and Tenet Hospital on the air, and they brought in somebody who deals with the lungs, a specialist who deals with the lungs. And this particular doctor was describing how and why this virus is so complicated. It's not like pneumonia, it's worse. It's not like cancer is better. But we were able to bring this doctor into the program using our technology, which sounded crystal clear, even on the radio side, which
Nice.
now they're incorporating on their side. It sounds a whole lot better. It's a whole lot easier. The video component is working, as you can see today. And their numbers last night, I've never seen numbers like this in 20 years of doing this business. They were tuned in, and something to touch upon that you talked about. Marsha Teal talked about what do caregivers do now during this quarantine crisis? What happens to them? Mentally, they were under a lot of pressure. Now, forget about it. They're going out of their minds. So she brought in a specialist who has a radio show in Seattle, Washington. Okay, now we all know about Seattle, Washington, right? And she brought them in, and again, never seen numbers like that. And I want to thank Marsha for putting that show together. Never seen numbers like that. And then we capped it off with Jordana Foster, Ready, Set, Go Beyond. Never seen numbers like I saw last night. The confidence that she was telling people, the same thing Lauren's talking about. You got to keep your business afloat. You got to keep it going. You got to keep this going. It was amazing. I became a spectator. I was watching the shows. I became a spectator, but it was three marvelous concepts of what Lauren is talking about, making us better. Okay. And I want to thank you. I want to thank Gio, because when I started this back many, many years ago, never in a million years did I ever think that doing things remotely were going to be the name of the game. And that is the way everybody's doing it. Yeah, I get it. Everybody's doing it. We've been doing it. So we now have to up our game to go to that next level, to do it securely, to do it cleanly, and to do it so you can deliver information. And that's why we've created that new platform, which I don't know if Teddy has the video that Hector made. I emailed it. It's in there. We can put that out there as well. And we invite to hear from people. You're going to hear from Joy. You're going to hear from Jojo. You're going to hear from Jen. They're going to be doing segments on the other network, simply because we got to keep these businesses and this mental mind frame on point. We got to keep going.
You know, it's really interesting because this new video, as soon as we get it uploaded, this is really all about branding what we do. Because when people come to our studio, some people don't know that AMP is your business. They don't know New Dawn Media is mine. They know us as the Brooklyn Cafe. So when they look for our sign, which we still have yet to replace, it's quite confusing, right? So we have branded it, and Hector, our animator, did a spectacular job of combining AMP and New Dawn Media. And when you see, you'll understand how my mind works and how our incredible animation team puts things together from my mind. And out comes AMP, A-M-P, AMP Media Productions, as a culmination of everything we do in all of our shows. It's about showing people the level of production and what we're able to do. The Kids in Cape show that aired Monday, their numbers were absolutely spectacular. Their visibility, Teddy recorded that for these kids. She'd worked on it all weekend. And wow, what a message they shared.
It was a fantastic show. It was put well together, and my condolences to poor Teddy, who put blood, sweat, and tears into that thing, and it came out phenomenal. But the numbers that we're seeing, the information that people are using and learning, whether it's Lauren or Ian, some of the companies that are bringing stuff forward, everybody has to continue the fight. I'm going to tell you, I woke up today a little miffed about a lot of things. I woke up miffed and I get cranky as well. It's like putting a racing horse inside a barn. My business has always been in the street. I'm a street guy. I'm an NYU graduate, but NYU came into me. And if you go to the village, you'll understand what I'm all about. I'm all about getting out there, meeting people and doing, shaking hands is a done deal now. That is never going to happen for the next 100 years in this country. That's done. But I woke up cranky this morning because there's just so many different challenges on the outside of production. So many things that we have to worry about and take care of and worry about people going to work and staying home. And I mean, it's just craziness. She's getting a babysitter because she needs a little time. You went out for a run because you need to get out. I have to continue doing the production, putting up the pages, doing the sites, doing this. I got to do that from here. I can't do it out there, and it's driving me batty as well. But we got to keep up the fight. Okay, we got to keep it going. We got to keep it going. And then I say we have to keep it going. That's the bottom line.
And here's what I'm looking forward to. And I have to reach out to Boston BioLife. I have to reach out to Joe Krieger. He's on my list. I've been thinking about it for a week. Because ever since we covered the summit 4 years ago, when you and I did that on the biologics, they send out incredible seminars. And they do incredible outreach. Now they are doing these seminars, many of them for free. And when this antibody test comes to your home, and it is a home test like a diabetic stick, and people find out that they have the antibodies, it then opens up this world that we can get back out there, those of us that have it, and say, you know what, we can open it up and other people stay home. But it opens up our space in the workforce. It opens up our mindset. It says, you know what, it's okay to get out of the house because there is an immune component to it for a year, maybe two. And they're on the cutting line of this. So I sent an email out last week. I'm sure they have been slam busy, but I'm going to reach out to Joe directly.
Me too. He actually is watching the show.
Oh, okay. Because they're on cutting edge, and I would love to hear about it, see what's coming down the pipeline, what their doctors, I mean, they have scientists from all over the world. And what we learned 4 years ago was we're still holding on to that information. Amazing. So there is hope, and there is a silver lining. You just got to dig through the cotton candy of fluff and get to it, but it's there.
Well, I was going to also talk to you a little bit about, because you have a better medical background than me. I saw that they have a million cases of this new stuff that they're using that's used for lupus and malaria. It's I can't remember the name of it, chloron, something.
Yeah.
Now, doctors are going to be prescribing that with some other medicine to help with this deal. But everybody is going to go crazy wanting this stuff. And Linda's mother was on this medication. My niece in Puerto Rico is on this because she has lupus on this medication. And there is a ton of side effects that come out with this stuff. So is it a case of the cure being worse than the disease? I don't know, but
it depends. It depends on what it is, but do not, and I know you talk about the streets, do not go get this combination of medications off the streets. There are side effects. Dr. Dan talked about it yesterday. It is putting people in cardiac arrhythmia. These are side effects of the medication that if you don't know how to balance it and you don't know the supplements to take with it and it's not under medical supervision, yes, it can be far worse than what it is. If it's that bad, go to the hospital. My parents have a friend in Manhattan, and he was pretty much a day away from a respirator, and they put him on a medication regimen, and he has improved very, very quickly. One of them happens to be this drug. I don't know what else he is on. For him, it is working. For his wife, it worked. More and more things that are starting to work on people will lower the curve. That will enable people to survive, just like when AIDS came out, just like all of these other viruses, West Nile virus, things. Once there is hope and a solution to helping people overcome it, then we get back into the community and we do what we have to do. But in the meantime, we got to more than pivot. We got to push and really share with everyone there is hope and find out what that is. And now is your opportunity to do something you've always dreamed of doing. Except for you. If you didn't like production, too bad you're stuck with me. So you can't go anywhere. You're stuck in this.
But there are people also, and I wanted to get, is it Elite that does the book publications?
Yes.
I want to get them on the line also. I want to bring her in. I may write a book. If I'm going to be home, I always talked about this, always about my life and the things that I've been through, because I got to tell you something. I look at the pages the notes that I take. I'm a pretty funny guy. I think it'd be a great book. And I can call it.
I can my coffee all over my computer, please. You are funny, though.
I could call it the stay-at-home book. Read it and weep. You know what I'm saying? But I want to bring her on because there's a lot of people that I've met doing this show with you and doing some of the other shows that we do, that I always said, why don't you write a book? Because the information you got is phenomenal.
There is a show that we'll talk about, since this one's just about over another day. There is the yin and the yang to everything. There are people that are now home that have lost their jobs, that are dual income. The rate of domestic violence and abuse has skyrocketed. The rate of child abuse has skyrocketed. Unfortunately, I think mental illness and anxiety and suicide is going on the rise as well. Do I always want to be a source of hope and inspiration? Absolutely. But I can't have my blinders on and not know this is what's going on. So I definitely want to bring in resources for that, because I know what's happening. And actually, the little girls, their mom reached out to me. She works with a lot of domestic abuse foundations. So maybe I can bring Amy on and talk about it. Because if you see social media, people are putting things out there to embrace and support others of what's going on. I don't want to talk about it because it's, people have their own privacy things. But this is a huge issue that we're dealing with now when people are home. Caregivers are one thing. The abuse, when you're stuck home with a spouse or a partner, that your only outlet was when you went to work or they went to work, and now you're home and there's no money, there's no food for your family. You don't know if you're going to have a roof over your head. Think about those anxieties, and then what happens to people. So.
Well, it's interesting as well, because you talked about that, because it's gotten to a point now where we're going to lose a lot of bodies. So we lost 2,000 bodies yesterday, which is a number for us. And there's going to be a lot of death because the past of what we didn't do correctly, or whatever the case may be, is now upon us. So then that's why they said this was the Grim Reaper this week and the following week. And I also saw a segment on something that you touched on, where a gentleman did not have a valve heart surgery because of what's going on, and he died yesterday. He lived 2 days after they told him they couldn't do the surgery, and he was done. Now, I don't know if it's because he lost hope, which is what you point out. I don't know what the deal is, but their family is outraged because of it. I also saw on the news, because you hate the news, in Walmart, with 2 gentlemen in Chicago. They died after 2 days of exposure, Dawn. 2 days. So the bottom line is this. If you can stay home, stay home. If you can't stay home because you got to go to the grocery store, that you see the news on the grocery store people now, they're getting sick. You know what? You got to be smart. You got to cleanse, you got to wash, you got to cleanse, you got to wash. You don't wear a pair of gloves all day. You got to have a pair of gloves, you got to have a box of gloves, put it on your back pocket and take it with you. The thing with the doctors, they don't want to play God. If you saw the thing, it just broke my heart. They don't want to play God. But what's happening here is that choices have to be made. And now they have an 8-step process. There was a gentleman from Pennsylvania that put it together. All of Pennsylvania is using it. And they will determine 1 is critical, 8 is not. And in those processes, they do not put age. Age is not a factor as part of the process. Neither is creed, color, gender, none of that is. It's about whether or not they're going to be able to save you. And now they have to make those decisions. So it's going to get complicated. And I know you touched upon this yesterday. It's going to get complicated. Domestic abuse, child abuse, mental anguish, the mental incompetence. So that Trump now is asking Congress to put money towards that. It's a big problem for everybody. Everybody is going to be affected by this thing one way or the other. And the responsibility for those who need our help falls upon those that can do the help, that can bring some kind of relief, some kind of outreach, maybe putting together a network because they didn't know that this piece of the pie existed. Okay, like we did with Lauren today. That becomes vital. Information that you don't know, gathering information. I saw that D'Amico said, you make sure you trust who you're dealing with.
Of course.
A lot of bad people out there still putting out false information. There's a lot of things we have to watch, though. All the way around, we got to watch.
All right, our 12 o'clock show, we're going to give you some levity and some hope. We got Mama Ali joining us at 12 o'clock today. We haven't heard from Mama Ali in quite a long time.
Where is she?
We're going to find out. She's home. She has been in quarantine. She's home. We just got to make sure she's able to use our platform. So I may need you to do your Freddie magic and get Mama on the line, but she's excited to be joining us, and I'm excited to hear from her. And in the meantime, is Fuego on today?
11 o'clock, 11:02.
Fuego's on today at 11:02, and we are back at 12 today with Mama Ali and 1 o'clock with Ann. And let's delve into the spirituality of it because no one does it better than Ann. Have a great morning, everyone. Let us know how we can help you pivot and grow your business. 866-224-5422. Hey, Freddie, smile.
My cowbell, baby. Don't be late.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S will bring more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. Well, see you next time.